Hey, MotoAmerica fans, this is Jake Gagne. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the MotoAmerica YouTube channel for more coverage, and like, comment. Let's go.
The young and the fast on tap for the MotoAmerica AMA FIM North American Road Race Championship. Round 1 of 9 for 2021 from Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta in Braselton, Georgia. Welcome to the MotoAmerica Superbikes at Atlanta. Hello everyone, welcome to the SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup class. I'm Greg White, standing alongside two-time champ Jason Pridmore. And Jason, this is the class that showcases the best young talent that America has.
No question. I think that when this year started, we were really excited about this because we knew we were going to have new winners. More importantly, we're going to have a new champion.
We had a race yesterday, so why don't we take a look at race 1 highlights. Jason, it was entertaining.
Yeah, it definitely was. And right off the bat, you can see Tyler Scott on the lone KTM in the field gets the jump on everybody. We had a red flag very early in this race, so we had to do a complete restart. And you can see going up the hill, Maxwell Toth. Hopefully today, Greg, he can get through the first couple corners. It's a frustrated young man, and we know he's better than that. The battle at the front started. Tyler Scott took the lead. Unfortunately, Blake Davis, one of our youngest competitors, crashed out early. Ben Glotty started to come forward, as well as David Kolstad, Gus Rodeo. These guys all battled. At the end, though, Tyler Scott edges Ben Glotty, and David Kolstad ends up third for the day.
I'll tell you what, man, it's that Ben Glotty thing. He continues to be second place in other podiums. But how about Tyler Scott in the debut, 15 years old, comes in here. Look at the resume, Jason, already. Red Bull Rookies Cup, European Talent Cup, and now a win in MotoAmerica.
Yeah, no question. He's already seasoned, and he's going to be a tough kid. He said in the interview yesterday he wasn't sure how competitive the KTM was going to be this weekend. We found out yesterday.
And the guy chasing him again this season, chasing that first win. Ben Glotty getting after this guy right here, Tyler Scott. We'll have more from Welcome back to Braselton, Georgia, Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, as we inch closer to the start of the SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup race. And in yesterday's race, we saw an outstanding run by number 29, David Kolstad, who got to stand on the podium for the first time in his young career. And our very own Hannah Lopa had a chance to catch up with him about his third-place finish.
Greg, David Kolstad is heading into his second year in the STG Junior Cup, and he is already off to an incredible start with a career first podium in race 1. David, tell us a little bit about your race. Were you expecting to end up on the podium at the end of it?
I feel like it was something that was in the back of my head, and I was going for it no matter what. And I was just going to keep it on 2 wheels, and I fought with everything I had coming from middle of the pack, and I was just glad and fortunate that I was able to take third, and I'm going to try and do it again today.
Now, you've set the bar high for yourself already this season. Is this something you think you can replicate and potentially fight for the championship?
For sure, because I feel like now it's definitely a big confidence booster knowing that I've been on the podium and that I can do it again. And I feel like I should be able to hang with these guys.
Best of luck in today's race. Thanks, David.
Well, Jason, that is a huge part of racing.
Absolutely, and he got to see the pace yesterday. He got to see the leaders. He was right there the whole time, so he's going to sleep on that third place and try to figure out how can I get to the top of that podium.
All right, as we look at beautiful aerial shots provided by Lucas Oil Helicopter, let's take a look at the track map, Jason, because Road Atlanta is a roller coaster.
Yeah, and on these little bikes, Greg, we're going to see a ton of drafting. It's going to start going down into turn 1, up a big steep hill into turns 2, 3, 4, down through the S's. Going to make our way out of turn 7 down that big back straightaway. We saw these guys 4 or 5 wide yesterday going down into turn 10. So that's going to be the main passing opportunity. That's where Kolstad got his podium yesterday down in turn 10. Down after that, up over the hill into turn 12. Right back to the start-finish line.
And I'm sure for the young Ben Glotty, he's been staring at this track map all night long. Where is he going to strategize his move to try to beat Tyler Scott and the rest of the field? We're here to find out.
So welcome back to our side of the booth. Robbie Floyd, Michael Hill, and Roger Hayden up here on our side. And guys, you know, we talking about Tyler Scott, Ben Glotty, and David Kolstad, but we want to talk about a second day race. And the standings or the way that they'll line up is going to be a little different because Blake Davis is now taking back that original spot is the way they have it lined up here. So throw in that 22 that you're seeing in there. Throw in that 58. We didn't get to see them yesterday. I think they're going to be in the mix up there in the front today.
Yeah, I definitely do, especially Blake Davis. He's been fast all weekend, every qualifier. And Max Toth, he's been so quick, even when he came and raced at Laguna last year. If he can just get past the bad luck the first couple laps, he definitely has the speed to be there.
First couple of corners. He can't get past that second turn when you throw in Laguna Seca as well as here. Michael, I mean, you can't win the race in the first turn, but you can definitely lose it.
That's true, but you know, like Max, he's got experience in Europe. He's trying to make amends, you know. And I think he just felt yesterday he didn't get in the right position going up the hill. And you know what it's like, Roger. Two riders going for the same spot. The guy in front didn't know he was there. He ran in the back of him. It's a racing incident, but you know, as Robbie said, he can't afford to do that today. He's got to get some points.
Just looked like he didn't get a very good start.
No.
So
Right.
he kind of shuffled back a little bit. And then once you do that, sometimes it's hard to stay calm and you rush it and you try to force a pass that's not there.
Let's throw another name in the mix. Fifth place yesterday, Cody Wyman on the KER moto. I thought he looked good in the warm-up this morning. And the traveling Wyman's been pretty fast today, not to let anything out there. I think he's going to be one to look for.
Yeah, for sure. He's definitely going to be one to watch, one of the oldest riders on the grid, but a ton of experience against these youngsters. It's going to be an interesting race. I'm really keen to see whether any of the other riders have got an answer for the KTM, whether the teams have made any changes. Will we see the Yamaha and the Kawasaki a little bit closer in terms of speed?
Well, I talked to Ben Glady yesterday. He thought he might have been a little faster than Tyler Scott. I was thinking around, you know, turn 5. We'll find out. Was he right? Stick with us.
STG Junior Cup coverage is sponsored by SportbikeTrackGear.com, the motorcycle apparel and parts specialists. And in part by Geico Motorcycle. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car or motorcycle insurance. And Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Take a look at the starting grid for this SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup. Gus Rodeo, Blake Davis, and Max Toth on the front row, JP.
Yep, and then we're going to go back to Tyler Scott, Glady, and Vanderbroek. Scott coming from that second row yesterday and getting that victory. Dreyer, we'll see if Avery is able to go today. Cody Wyman, Hayden Bickneys, David Kolstad, Jack Roach, and Aiden Dow are going to round out row 4. Kolstad comes all the way from row 4 yesterday. Then we got Chase Black, Cale Essman, Alex Ricci, and Charles Soprano there.
Fans out and all over the fence line here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta on a spectacular day. Weather perfect for racing, Jason. We had some clouds that were overhead that were looking a bit ominous, but they're starting to clear out. And we get some sunshine on this racetrack. So for this race, SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup, 12 laps scheduled. And the 22 of Blake Davis looking for something better today than yesterday. Yep. A bright young talent and second place on the grid. Our pole sitter, Gus Rodeo, a 142.433. Trying to turn that into a race win. So much talent in this field as we await the lights to be illuminated. Here we go. They're off and we're running. The long drag on a small displacement motorcycle to turn number 1, and it looks like the 96, our pole sitter Gus Rodeo, will have his way as real estate trying to be found by a lot of different riders. That's going to push some wide.
I think Avery got in there a little bit deep and pushed another rider out just a little bit. Couldn't get a number on it, but yeah, looking at 48 there, Vanderbroek gets a good start to jump himself up into second place right off the bat. But look at Gus Rodeo put his head down through these S's on the opening lap. He's already created just a little bit of a gap, Greg.
Yeah, Gus Rodeo trying to erase what happened yesterday and get out front and try to win this one. But what about our winner from yesterday, Tyler Scott, on that KTM? Where's Tyler?
He's back and looked like 7th or 8th place. You can see him on the left-hand side of our screen there on the orange KTM, the only one. And look who's in front of him. Ben Glady didn't get the best start either. So these guys are all, and they actually ran back down the leader. So, Greg, we're going to see some drafting right now as they come on the back straightaway. Max Toth, he is right there in 3rd, as is Davis in 4th. So 2 of our non-finishers yesterday are already making an impact on today's race.
Pass for the lead as the 48 will take over. Max Van goes, and it looks like Gus Rodeo on the 96 will take it right back. How wide are they going to go into turn number 10A? We're 5 wide as they get on the brakes, and the 58 looks like is going to sort themselves in, so it's going to be Max Toth.
And then Cody Wyman jumps himself up on that 34, gets himself into second place. And we've got 7, 8, 9 guys right now all trying to get to the front. Ty Scott made that move, and it looks like, yep, Avery Dreyer's going around, trying to go around the outside, gets maybe close to the dirt there.
Ooh.
Couldn't tell.
That was wide, and that's going to slow Ty down. Oh, and a bike down coming onto the front straightaway. So Ryder down.
Trying to get a look out here, see who that could be. These guys are going to be going up into turn 2, up the hill there into turn 2. And we're going to keep a look right outside of our stand here to see if any flags, if the red flag comes out or not, Greg, because these guys are all going down through the S's right now. 4 guys have broken away, started to break away just a little bit. They're just getting away from Davis now. Glady has got himself up into 4th place.
Race action continuing for the moment as they head down into turn number 6. And there is the 34 of Wyman goes into the lead.
Yep,
Red flag out.
Yeah, it had to happen, Greg. The incident that we've had on the front straightaway here. We just got to get the corner works and make sure everybody's safe down there.
So red flag conditions, race stoppage. And Jason, a look at it at the top of your screen.
Yeah. Just got high-sided coming out of the last corner. That is a big one, Greg. We don't see high sides much bigger than that anymore. So try to get a number on that rider. Just got out there a little bit wide. Look at the black line that was left there.
Is that 85?
Yeah, looks like by Charles Soprano there. Separano. That is a big one.
All right, so under red flag conditions for the moment, so we will have to sort this entire situation out. All right, so riders making their way down pit lane.
So we can pick it up from the guys next door. Max Van with a good jump that time, and unfortunately he's going to have to do it once again on the 48, the SportbikeTrackGear.com entry, Michael.
Yeah, just looking down there, who's talking to him? That is Damian Jigeloff, a former front runner in the Junior Cup. He's riding a superbike in the WERA Championship this year. I was speaking to him a little bit earlier during my Mike on the Move feature, and he was saying that he's hoping to bring the Superstock bike, Roger, to 3 or 4 rounds this year. It'd be great to see Damian back in the paddock and back with us at MotoAmerica.
Yeah, it would be great, especially seeing him in that Stock 1000 class. It's just a class for these guys to get their feet wet in MotoAmerica, and you can just see so much young talent moving into that class, and he would be a great addition.
Be interesting when we do resume this race. Firstly, how many laps it will be, but this is also going to give a second bite of the cherry, isn't it, Roger, to some of the riders that didn't maybe get the best start. And I'm looking predominantly at the orange of Tyler Scott. He didn't get the best of starts, got swallowed up by the pack, and had that race continued, it would have been interesting to see A, if he could have made his way through, and B, how long it would have taken him.
Tyler Scott definitely wanted to see that red flag after that start. Even he got to battling with some guys too in that first lap, and you could see the first 5 or 6 guys were kind of going to try to start to pull away, and the guys who got a really good start definitely did not want to see that red flag. So they're got to line them up and do it again, and even Blake Davis that time didn't get a very good start.
So one thing about the red flag, you can make some changes to the bike. You can top it off with fuel. You see the warmers go back on there. So a lot of tweaks you could do here. There's something you may have figured out in the first lap or so. And that was a massive get off. Again, we saw it was the 85 of Charles Separano that brought out the red flag. So again, we're under a red flag situation, and all the guys that got good starts, including the 34 of Cody Wyman, it makes no difference. It's going to pretend like that race had never even happened. They're going to re-rack them, restack them, we'll get things underway, and we've just been showed 10 laps to go on our deal. Roger, you're not just up here in the booth. You've been kind of your own man on the move this week as well, haven't you?
A little bit, trying to do some different stuff, try to get more comfortable doing the announcing. So it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun, and learning experience is definitely a lot harder than I always thought it would be. So now when I watch a sporting event, I used to be really hard on the announcers, and now now I'm a lot easier. I know how hard it is.
Hey, nobody will fault you. It's always me and Michael that are the bad ones because, hey, you were the racer. Everybody else aspires to be you out there.
Cody, take us through the first few moments of that race.
I got an okay start, and then someone just kind of ran in really tight, so that opened a window for us. Got a good draft, but first thing, I hope that rider's okay. That didn't look very good, but let's try to replicate that start and try to put this thing in the podium.
Thanks, Cody. Let's get over to Jamie Howe with more.
Well, for Gus Radio, he's going to go back to the original grid. This 96 bike will lead us to the green again. You know what happened the last time around. You were passed right as the red flag come out. What do you do different this time around?
I just need to work harder on that first lap, and I know what I have to do. I just have to execute it, and that's the hard part. So I'm just going to work really hard on that first lap and see what happens.
It's all going to see what happens together, guys.
I think when he goes back and he looks at that start, Jamie, Gus, you did a great job getting that bike off the line and getting down through the S's the first lap. You had a bit of a gap. It's just that when guys start working together properly in this class, the draft is such a big key. And as they came up out of turn 5, a few guys were able to draft down to turn 6, and it just closed that gap back up. It's very difficult to get away in this class as far as trying to make a big break at the start. But if you can get up into turn 2 initially on your own, much like Gus did there, and that gap that he had pulled, it was definitely promising for him there.
All right, let's get down to Hannah Lopa with Tyler Scott.
It is actually me this time, Greg. So Tyler Scott just put his helmet back on. He actually had the air blowing onto his face right now. The sun's starting to come out. As we get back to racing in just a couple of minutes, what's at the top of your mind, Tyler?
Just get a good start and then just keep my ground from there and hopefully a podium.
Hopefully a podium. You got a win yesterday. Is that in the cards today with what you saw in that first lap?
It's definitely in the cards, but there's like 7, 8 riders that are really close, so towards the end you never know what will happen down the straightaway and drafting, but hoping for a podium.
All right, man, a few words as he gets his gear back on, gets his mind ready for racing, Greg.
Okay, thank you, Jamie. I appreciate it. My apologies to Jamie and to Hannah on those calls. As we take a look down into the final corner from our vantage point, it looks like the racetrack is being cleared. They're taking a good long look and inspecting to make sure that there are no fluids down there, to make sure it's nice, safe race conditions. Jason, we've talked about this, unfortunately, too many times this weekend with red flags, but it's about that mindset, it really about getting keyed up for the race, and getting keyed up for the race really begins, in the morning when you're on your way to the racetrack or you wake up here at the racetrack.
Well, I think just it's a long off season for everybody. Everybody comes here ready to go, and we've seen a lot of mishaps in those first laps, haven't we, in quite a few of our races this weekend. And, it could be people just a little overzealous to get going and wanting to do well. We all want to do that, obviously, but the thing is these things happen in racing. It's unfortunate, but looks like that rider was up okay down there, and we're going to get this race restarted. So they're going to be out on a siding lap, come around for quick start procedure, I'm assuming again, Greg. They'll get onto the front straight away. One member of each crew will be out there, of each rider, and we'll get back to racing really quick. I'm really impressed. I don't know Tyler Scott obviously at all, and I'm really impressed by his interviews in the sense that he seems very realistic with expectations. He wants to win, obviously. He wants to be on the podium. Yesterday he even made reference to, you want to be there at the end of the year for championship and just continue to do the best you can. And I agree with him. There was more riders at the front today. There was probably 7 up at the front today. So being able to show some racecraft, and we saw in our pre-show kind of the history that he's got. Even as young as he is, he's got a lot of experience overseas and in some big series over there. Red Bull Rookies Cup in 2019 and such. So he's got some experience. He's got some race miles under his belt. So he's quickly kind of making himself look like one of the favorites, obviously, for the championship this year also.
This sighting lap, an opportunity for the riders to take a look, especially in the final corner where that incident was. Make sure that everything is nice and clear. Got to send a shout out to Tech Moto Performance and Alex Ricci out of Chino, California. What a spectacular looking motorcycle, the Stars and Stripes, the number 15, as we get shots of Rocco Landers fresh off of his first podium appearance in Supersport on the grid, helping his teammate, I'm sure.
Yeah, it definitely isn't going to hurt Ben Glotti's feelings to see the guy who just got off this podium in 600 and is going to be sitting out there waiting for him now as they come around for this after this sighting lap.
Rocco Landers continues to be invested in the SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup category. All right, so sighting lap is coming to a conclusion. These riders will line up in their grid positions. As a reminder of where they will start after the warm-up lap. So Ben Glotti with a second chance to get a better start on his Landers Racing Kawasaki Ninja 400. And Rocco there giving him words of encouragement and a little bit of a drink. So original grid position, so it's Gus Rodeo on pole, Blake Davis, Max Toth, Ty Scott, Ben Glotti, Max Van, your first 2 rows. And can Gus Rodeo continue this streak of incredible starts, Jason?
Yeah, really good starts, and it's so important here to just get that first. Like I say, Greg, I always looked at Atlanta. That's first 15 seconds of this race for these guys, getting up to the top of that hill and getting through that turn 2, 3, 4 area nice and clean is so key. And when you can lead up into there, it definitely makes a big difference for you.
Blake Davis, the number 22, on that N2 Racing Yamaha YZF R3. A couple of R3s in the field this season. Jack Roach and Blake Davis. And of course, MotoAmerica looked at the competition and the level playing field in the SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup class, allowing for some modifications to the engine for the Yamaha R3 for competitive balance. But JR eyes are really on the speed yesterday of that KTM RC 390R. Tyler Scott and the Scott Power Sports KTM, which really begs the question of why have we not seen more KTM RC30Rs in the field after, I believe, our champion from a couple of years ago.
Yeah, Alex Dumas won, I believe, a few years back on that bike. And what was funny is when we had the helicopter shot yesterday, you could see that those first, sort of when they got to 4th and 5th gears, the KTM was good, but towards the end of the straightaway, it looked like the Ninja was drawing him back in with Glotti, and we know how big Glotti is, so he was able to just kind of pull him back a little bit towards the end of the back straightaway, and so a lot of it's going to be on these little bikes, man. Gearing is so key. We heard a number of bikes on the first lap yesterday well into the limiter at the top of the hill, and I made comment yesterday that we're going to have to do some re-gearing going into the day, because you start getting into a 1-bike draft compared to a 6 or 7-bike draft, and it definitely does make a difference.
Getting ready to line these motorcycles up to get this race going again. Race number 2, warm-up lap for the SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup class. Gus Rodeo, the number 96, on the Rodeo Racing Kawasaki Ninja out of New Jersey, will try to get it done again. Watching that rider, his motorcycle easy to distinguish with those eyeballs staring at you as he's coming towards you on the straightaway. It's time to go racing. Start number 2 of the SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup class. From pole position, Gus Rodeo looking for another good start. Revs are up because the light's on. Now we're away racing. And Rodeo again with a good launch. You can see the rest of the field trying to funnel behind the 96 and catch a bit of a draft.
Glotti on the inside gets a better jump. Davis is going to go into second as they roll into turn number 1. It looked again like the number 99. Avery got a good start. Avery Dreyer got a good jump there, and he's going to go up into 4th. Greg, as they go up into turn number 2, he does. Cody Wyman looks like he's there in 5th.
Ty Scott got a better launch, but not the greatest. So 6th place for Scott.
Still okay, though. You know, it's going to be close enough still to get on the back of these guys. See Kolstad back there as well. Didn't look, it looked like originally Toth got a good launch, but he kind of got swallowed up down into turn 1. Glotty's going to take the lead right off the bat as they go down into turn 6.
Yeah, it took the lead by a bike length or 2, but then there's that long back straightaway. At the beginning of this race, you have 9 riders all in tow. Down the back straightaway, it's Ben Glotty who leads out of turn 7. Gus Rodeo's in the draft, a 22 Blake Davis in the draft. This is going to be interesting. We saw 5 wide into turn 10A on the first lap, the first start. And look at the 70 going by a bunch of people on that KTM. Looking for room. It's 6 wide, heading down into 10A. But Glotty on the brakes. He'll hold on to the lead. Where's the 22 going? Up the inside on the 99.
Yes, he gets himself, slots himself into 4. So that R3 down the back straightaway was able to kind of hang in there and stay in the draft as these guys come down into the final corner now. Toth gets pushed a little bit wide as they started to tip in there. Wyman just moved over a little bit. Now they're, what do we got, Greg? How many we got come across the line together there? 9 guys. Top 9 guys are together.
This is what this SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup racing is all about. This competitive, close racing to highlight the youth coming up through the field, showcase your talents, and to show what you have. Down into the S's. They've spread out slightly, but this is what we expect here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. It's all about that back straightaway and making sure that you get, just got to stay in touch.
You
That's
really
the big
just,
deal.
all these next 6, 7, 8 laps you're going to see little breakaways like we see now at the front. You can see that Rodeo and Scott and Glotty are trying to, but Wyman and that next group of guys will get together down the back straightaway and they'll be able to pull everybody back in. And our 9-rider battle when we came across the line has now turned into about 7, as it looks like a couple of guys have dropped off the back end of this. That would be Dreyer and I believe Vandenbroek also. Yep, you see them back there. They're definitely not out of it. They just got to try to resort themselves out and get on the back of these guys. They should be able to do some of that as they come down into turn 10. Tyler Scott took the lead briefly. Glotty goes back by as they go down the hill into the braking zone.
72 Ben Glotty, Landers Racing, Kawasaki Ninja 400 will lead up and over the hill down into the final corner with Ty Scott, the number 70 on that Scott Power Sports KTM, easily recognizable, and then your pole sitter, the number 96 Gus Rodeo in 3rd spot, and it's Cody Wyman up into 4th, trying to go for 3rd place.
There it is.
So Wyman, off the fastest lap of the race, moves himself into a podium spot.
And Toth is just right there on the back of them as well. So, again, when we looked at Max yesterday, didn't get all those laps. So right now, these are all kind of new laps to both Davis and Toth. They didn't get to race against these guys yesterday. I'm sure they've seen them on track during practices and during qualifyings, but didn't really get to lock horns with them during the race yesterday. So they're going to be in this kind of feel-out process right now and seeing where guys are. We've got yellow flags, Greg. We can see
it's actually a debris flag. Sorry, it's a debris flag right in the middle. You see that blue piece. So that was an indicator to the riders that there's some debris on the racetrack. It isn't really in the line.
Yep, riders will see that.
Yeah, riders will definitely see that. So no drama. So Cody Wyman, a 42-1, Jason. So quicker than pole position set a couple days ago. Oh, yeah, already. By 0.3 of a second. But Ty Scott trying to make a break now.
Yep, Ty Scott did this yesterday. He was able to get out front and gap these guys through 6 and 7 enough where they couldn't draft him. Right now, they're in the draft, though, and they're going to go right by him as they go down into turn 10. Glotty's trying to make a move. Scott very late on the brakes, though, able to hold him off as they go down into 10. Now the lap times will probably drop even lower, Greg. So what was our pole time yesterday? We ended up going
42.4.
42.4. We're already at 42.1. So that's just going to be all because of the draft. See some purples on our screen right now, even as they get ready to come across the line again.
And after the race yesterday, there was a little bit of an alliance formed between some of the Kawasaki riders led by Gus Rodeo and Benjamin Glotty, Max Toth. The guys all decided that in order to beat Tyler Scott on that KTM, they are going to have to work together. We're seeing some of that unfold here, but I'm certainly going to keep an eye on this as this season unfolds, because I think it's going to get ugly, Hannah.
Jamie, he definitely has a target on his back, and one of the riders looking to chase him down right now is Cody Wyman. When I talked to him earlier, he said yesterday he was really struggling out of 7, trying to get a better drive. They made an adjustment to the gearing to help with rear grip, especially toward the end of the race, but his main goal was to stay with the lead group again today, and he's certainly doing that.
And that's right, Hannah. I mean, gearing is so essential when it comes to these little bikes, and you've got to try to get that stuff matched up with your crew as best as you can. And when you talk about alliances being formed, you know, you can do stuff like that with guys that you trust, guys that you could be around. Glotty right now trying to go with Tyler Scott. These two guys yesterday were able to break free of the rest of the field. Right now, Glotty's gone back by Scott as they're going down the back straightaway. The other guys are 3 wide. As they head down, they're going to be almost 4 wide. I can see Kolstad in there. Toth trying to get himself up into that 3rd spot. Not able to do it. Wyman gets back into that 3rd spot with Rodeo filtering back into 4th. But if they keep doing that, those guys behind, the 2 in front will start to get away.
Jason, you mentioned about a lap ago in terms of lap time. It was David Kolstad with the fastest lap of the race. Last time by the stripe at a 42 flat. 0.4 of a second quicker than the pole time set. What about Ben Glotty as he tries to pull the pin? A 42.1 for him. So again, they just continue to pound out these quick laps as Ty Scott back to the lead, over the bump in turn 1 and up the hill they roll. And you can see that Cody Wyman trying to use all the racetrack, that traditional 400 line, and use corner speed to stay with the 2 up front. And right behind is the 28 or 29 of David Kolstad right in the mix.
Yeah, he's got himself back in there, and you can see Rodeo and Toth just behind them. And Cody's done a nice job here of getting that gap back down to those lead 2 guys. And you can see, you know, when we talk about gaps, they're such small, insignificant gaps it would seem, but that little gap that's opened up between Cody Wyman and Kolstad, that's the kind of gap where the lead 3 guys can start to get away a little bit.
Yeah, because if Kolstad can't close down that draft, this part of the racetrack, then all of a sudden he's just going to be locked in his own battle with the 96 and the 58.
That's right. And what happens now is Glotty will pull Wyman along in that lead draft up behind Tyler Scott. And the other 3 guys are in formation, so they're not going to let them get away. They should be back on the back of him as Glotty goes down back past Scott down the back straightaway. I can still hear a lot of rev limiters going down into turn number 10. Looks like Wyman's going to try to make a pass on Scott. He's going to get through to 2nd place.
Wow, so Cody Wyman works himself into 2nd spot. Now on the tailpipe of Ben Glotty as they come up over the hill. Is Wyman going to get greedy? No, he doesn't. Oh, he does. He let the brake lever off. Can he get it turned? So Wyman to the lead. He's going to take it to the stripe. Is he going to get there? Because Glotty got a good drive. So now they're side by side heading into turn number 1. Cody Wyman got greedy, and he got away with it for the moment. And Glotty thinks he has it, but Ty Scott goes up the inside.
Yep.
They are fanning all over the place. This is SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup Racing at its finest. Ty Scott leading the way. No daylight between the top 3, but that battling, Jason, has allowed
the
3 behind him to catch up.
Yeah, just a little move like that for Cody. He wanted to go back by. He wanted to go by in turn 12 and lead this race, and maybe a dress rehearsal even for the last lap, see if he could hold off before he got to the line. But more importantly, what it does is it allows those other 3 guys to close right back up now. So saw a lot of Cody went from 1st to 3rd by the time they got down to turn 1, and now Kolstad's back on the back along with Toth and Rodeo.
Cody Wyman, a look at the replay. Jay, as they came down the hill here, I thought, nah, looks like he's just going to stay there.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, like you said, Greg, right here, he just kind of releases the lever a little bit, goes past, and you can see Glotty kind of cuts it back up underneath on the exit. But on the right side of your screen now, you can see 6 riders all drafting each other as they held down into turn 10.
Yeah, Cody Wyman, though, on that KER Moto Kawasaki, just looks like he can carve any corner any way he wants to right now. It's just a matter of putting these laps together. So at least it was a dress rehearsal for the 34 if he needs that one. But also, he gave it up a little early in this race. When Ben Glotty comes across the stripe now, it's going to be 4 to go in this one. The number 70 pulling up alongside on that KTM. will have position into turn number 1.
Oh.
Cody Wyman trying to go around the outside. That's a long way around.
But look at Kolstad. He goes up by Glady up the inside, and he's going to have the position as they go up into turn 2. Yes, he is. So Kolstad, he's trying to do more. Remember Greg yesterday, he said he can't sleep before races. He said last night after being on the podium, he's probably not going to sleep at all. Well, he's probably been sitting up thinking about how can I get myself up to second, or how can I win one of these things. And he's done a nice job just quietly kind of picking through these guys. And you can see now, Greg, he is going to get on the back of Tyler Scott and take a shot at him as well now.
David Kolstad having a conversation with Hannah Lopa earlier in the day, and Kolstad saying to Hannah that he had confidence after that podium. He knows he can run this pace up front, and there was that moment when it looked like there might be that gap between those three. And Kolstad has a little issue coming on to the back straightaway.
That's a big issue, because what that does is it's going to kind of slow the guys up behind you a little bit. And see that gap to that orange bike getting a little bit further away? Now that's going to be really important that these guys don't carve each other up too much when they get down to turn 10 as they go 4 wide going down the back straightaway. Tyler Scott is going to have clean track down through this left and the right, and it's going to be up to Glady now to go put the chase in to try to run that back down. So it's a small mistake by Kolstad getting through turn 7 a little wide, running up onto that rumble strip, and now there's that gap to the front. But look at Ben Glady. He's got his head down trying to close that gap back up, Greg.
To the line comes our leader, Ty Scott. 3 laps to go in this race. The draft and pass also important here at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta as Ben Glady tries to keep the number 70 Ty Scott in tow. He doesn't want to give him anything because we know that that KTM is fast on the back straightaway. Things are starting to close up again.
And we're seeing kind of what we saw yesterday. Glady and Scott kind of getting to the front and trying to get away. Wyman now is the man who we have seen be able to pull these guys back in. He's going to do the job to try to get the other 3 behind him and pull them along as well. But this small gap now between Glady and Wyman, the 2 guys at front, pulled away yesterday, and we're just now starting to lose Gus Rodeo a little bit off the back end of this group as well.
Fastest lap of the race a couple laps ago by Cody Wyman when he was making those aggressive passes. A 41.8, a 41.9 by Ty Scott on the last lap by. So we all know that these riders are capable of dipping into the 41s. When, Jason Pridmore, do you start playing your cards? It's 2.5 laps to go.
Well, right now, Glady's just trying to get onto the back, and he's trying to get up alongside. He's well in the draft now. He's going to pull out to the left of Tyler Scott. He's going to lead them down into turn 10. So Glady's going to have a lot of confidence in his ability to close this gap back down. As you can see, Wyman being a little bit defensive over Toth and Kolstad just behind him now. So, but the 2 guys in the front, they're going to, I don't know, Greg. We'll see what the lap times look like right now, because Maxwell Toth just ran the fastest split of anybody through that first split to try to get himself. And you can see he's got himself back on the back of Wyman a little bit. Wyman gets out a little bit wide on the last corner there.
Toth on the 58, middle part of your screen, trying to get around the 34 of Wyman. So there goes the 58. Got position, gets around him. So Maxwell Toth on the Veloce Racing Kawasaki Ninja 400 puts himself into that 3rd place position, and now we'll try to make those moves. Got to close that gap as Scott back to the lead. Toth, fastest lap of the race, a 41.4, Jason.
Yeah.
That's a full second faster than pole position from the other day.
Yep, he's done a nice job, has Maxwell Toth there on that 58 bike. Seen a little bit of heartache out of him the couple times we've seen him, and right now he's running a really nice race, and he is now taken to the front of Cody Wyman to try to catch up to those 2 guys. They're not having their way like they were yesterday, are they? They're not quite getting away as much as we saw them do that yesterday with 2 laps to go.
No,
this group behind is back on the back of them.
And oftentimes we see that as a result of after getting a full race data in and getting to make adjustments to the motorcycle. So Scott on the 70 continues to lead the way. Not a great exit of turn 7 for Ben Glady, as he now looks to be a victim of the 58 of Max Toth, as Toth is in the draft. I don't know. It looks like, though, That Glotty has caught some draft. He's going to go down into 10A. Is he going to? Yeah, I was going to say it's a little bit early because we're going to go to the white flag.
Tyler Scott's good on the brakes down there, though. If you don't get right up alongside of him or even a wheel ahead of him, it's going to be really hard for anybody to outbrake him. And we've seen Glotty be able to get up alongside of him a lot earlier than that. So that run down through the S's, this is going to be the key. You see the white flag is out for our top 5. Gus Rodeo's just lost touch with these guys now. Looking at the lap times there, 41.2, fastest lap of the race for your third place guy there, number 58, Maxwell Toth. So now it's going to be a matter of they've got to get down through these S's with Scott to stay close enough to him for that back straightaway draft.
Half a lap ago, Glotty had a look over his shoulder. I think he's trying to formulate a plan. One thing you need to know with experience is I have a plan, but who's going to try to foil my plan from behind me? So Glotty, I think in a good position at the moment. Controlling the pace is Ty Scott. A look at the race pace from Scott. Glotty, again, another look over his shoulder. I think he's really trying to scheme where he's going to do it.
Well, he knows where he wants to do it. I think what he wants to see is how many guys are going to draft me while I'm trying to draft Scott. You know, so Tyler Scott gets in there a little early. These guys got to get a good drive now. And really, Toth and even Cody Wyman, they're in good spots here, as is Kolstad. But they've got to get up on the back of Scott as they come down the back straightaway.
In the draft, on the final lap of this SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup race, Glotty makes his move. Side by side, bouncing off of rev limiters. He's got the lead. He's deep into 10A. Did he overcook it? Can he make the corner? Ben Glotty, no problem. On the switchback, up the hill. It's going to be Glotty with a couple bike lengths. He doesn't know that. He thinks they're right on him. He's going to come down the hill into this final corner. Battle for the podium still raging. Ben Glotty, is he going to do it? Finally, is it going to be the 72 of Glotty? He'll come across the stripe and take the win in SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup race number 2.
Love it. Finally for Ben Glotty. He did such a fine job there. Able to work his way up there in the draft. Had the wherewithal to block that line even coming down the hill into turn 12. So tremendous job for Ben Glotty. That's probably going to be the first of many. Usually when these guys get their first one, Greg, it starts to become a bit of a habit. Tyler Scott, tremendous effort all weekend long. Fastest lap of the race, Greg, on the last lap for Glotty. 41.1.
Wow. Unbelievable for Ben Glotty. Finally gets to stand on the top step of the podium in this category. We're going to step away. You're not going to go anywhere because when we come back, we get to talk to the New Hampshire native about his win.
What a run to the finish line, Roger Hayden. Ben Glotty with his first victory in the Junior Cup, the SportbikeTrackGear.com Juniors. Solid race between those top 5, and David Kolstad got the back end of that one, and Gus Rodeo was in it for the longest time. I didn't know who was going to win, but I know that KTM's still pretty darn fast, Tyler Scott.
Yeah, the KTM is fast. It just seems like the beginning of the straightaway kind of pulls away, but you can tell when these guys get to the kink, they start gaining a lot of ground on him, and it was really cool to see Ben Glotty win. He's been close so many times, and he was the guy that we've talked about all season, going to be the one to watch for in this class. So it was cool to see him get that win, and good to see Max Toth be able to do the race, not have any issues, and show what he can do, and he's definitely going to be fast all year.
The Three Musketeers of Rocco Landers, Dominic Doyle, Samuel Lockoff moving up to the Super Sport class, and all eyes were on Ben Glotty to be that guy that would take over the reins, and that's when Tyler Scott jumped up and said, hey, I'm the one to look for, but look at Rocco Landers cheering him on, and the excitement. Stoney Landers telling him where to park. It's different. You don't have to move to that 2 spot. You can go to the 1 spot, and it's going to be Glotty Dotty. We like to potty tonight. I feel it in the Landers cab.
Stoney knows where the P1 spot is.
Yes, he does. And that's a bike that, it's new. It's a brand new bike, but built very similarly to what Rocco Landers had run the past 2 years. And you saw it last year when Rocco and Ben spent a lot of time with each other off the track, on the track, and helping each other out. And it looks like all the hard work has finally paid off. And You couldn't ask for a better team. And good run by.
Yeah, I was going to say good run by Cody Wyman.
Yes, that was exactly where I was going. He was throwing it in there. If he was a little closer, it was going to get ugly going to 10. I can promise you there. But they timed it just right and got by Tyler. I think that KTM is fast, but you're right. At the very end, the Kawasaki's got some pull on it. What do you do at Road America? You know, how can you put weight on him or something like that on that KTM when you see the Kawasaki's able to get by in a draft?
Well, you see that they can make a run toward the end, so I'm not sure if you need to do anything.
Yeah, you just got to have one of those super long straightaways. What's this thing going to do on some of those mid-length straightaways? I think he may have a little bit of advantage, but a strong run, back-to-back, podium finishes for Tyler Scott.
Perfect way to start his career in MotoAmerica with a couple podiums. He has to be excited with that. And talking to him before the race, that was his goal, to be on the podium, and that's the way it should be. You set your expectations where you can, where you can meet them and start to build on that. But he's definitely been fast. He's been fast as a whole amateur career.
The hype is real for Tyler Scott. The Scott Power Sports KTM finishing second, but Cody Wyman finishing third. Max Toth, a strong run for him. I'm just glad to see him make it through a race. And he was just off the podium, but look out, VIR. It could get good. Let's send it down to the other crew in the Fox booth.
Today's Junior Cup race coverage has been sponsored by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
Well, when you win a race, why not do it with the fastest lap of the race? Ben Gloddy with a 41-1. Margin of victory just a tenth of a second, and Cody Wyman comes on top of that battle of Toth and Kolstad, who was right there as well. And then our pole sitter, Gus Rodeo, 4.7 seconds back. What a race we had, which means it's time to get right down to Hannah with our race winner.
I've had a lot of interviews with Benjamin Gloddy over the last couple of seasons, but this is the first one on the top step of the podium. It's been a long time coming for you, Ben. Tell us about your race.
It was a really awesome race. I kind of got shuffled back a little bit on that start, and I couldn't get through that group just on those first couple laps, trying to get to the front. So finally, I think by the end of the second lap, I was able to get to the front of that group, and me and Tyler broke just a little bit of a gap, and they kind of reeled us in on the last lap. But I'm beyond stoked. I'm kind of at a loss for words. I wouldn't have been able to done it without Olin's, Arai Helmets, my whole Landers Racing crew, Stoney, Tarl, Jamie, everybody over there. The Big S. I'm lost. Freedom Cycle, Dunlop Tires, just everybody, Penguin Racing School. Thank you guys very much.
A job well done for Benjamin Gloddy. Guys.
Yeah, what a race. To get your first one, to do it like that, Jason, has got to be special.
Absolutely. You had to keep grinding all the way through and run your personal best, or actually the absolute fastest lap of the race on the last lap to get it done is always a nice feeling. It's something you can look back on. So hopefully this rips the cover off for Ben Gloddy, and we can see a little bit more of this.
All right, let's get right down to Jamie Howe.
Tell you, Greg, one of the best things about Junior Cup is the fact that these riders are so young. Tyler Scott, 15 years old. The emotion is on his leathers right now instead of the sleeve. After the win yesterday, the second place finish today, what was different?
Well, I knew there was a lot of pressure, and off the first start, I didn't get the launch I wanted, but then there was a red flag, and my start was pretty good. So I decided to go out front and try to lead the race, but a little bit with the bike setup and the gearing was a little short, and at the end, he draft passed me for the win. But good job to Ben.
Nice job to you as well, Greg.
All right, so Ty Scott, Jason, and that's really tasting success and what happens when you finish second, but nonetheless, a good race and a good debut weekend for Scott here in MotoAmerica.
Really good. I mean, walks out of here with a first and a second, was right there all the way to the end. Seems like he's got a very good, solid head on his shoulders, too. Knows what he's trying to, he's looking big picture here. He's going to get his wins, and he's going to take his seconds when he needs them.
Time to hear third place with Hannah.
A third Wyman Brothers podium this weekend, but Cody Wyman couldn't let Big Brothers have all the fun. A career first for you in the STG Junior Cup. Cody, how'd you get it done?
No, feels amazing. I was in the gravel yesterday. I'm losing my voice from yelling on the backstretch. Just such a big thanks to my whole family. My dad built this bike, Kermoto, K-Tech, Evil Technology, Madden Painting, Motivation USA, Arai Helmets, Helmet House, Cortec, everyone who's gotten me here, all my friends and family. This is awesome.
Congratulations to Cody Wyman.
Love seeing Cody smiling like that on the podium. I've played a little bit of golf with him. He doesn't smile. Well, no, he does smile just as much on the golf course. He does, but congratulations. We saw him last year battling for 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. Now he's on the podium. Good job.
Yeah, a great first weekend recovery, as Cody talked about. So what a race we had in SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup. Championship points have been Gloddy tied with Tyler Scott. A 1-2 for each of those riders. Good way to roll us into our next race at Virginia International Raceway with David Kolstad and Cody Wyman tied. So perfect start to the season. MotoAmerica's got to be smiling about this SportbikeTrackGear.com Junior Cup class as it's so close at top. Well, that'll do it for us from Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta as these three get to celebrate the podium. For Hannah Lopa, Jamie Howe, and Jason Pridmore, I'm Greg White. Thanks for joining us. We will see you again from Alton, Virginia.
Number one! Yeah!